on to the next one because this is really important news. The entire way of us living is about to change.
Oh,
and
no.
by us, I mean very specifically PC gamers that are into graphics cards. And that's what I mean by us. Not you, Clay.
I'm just gonna. Okay.
Yeah.
Get out of there. Get out of this conversation.
Not you right now. All right.
Joe,
All right.
on you, please.
So here's the thing. Everybody knows that for the longest time, it's been well, if we go back, it's been 3DFX and NVIDIA, or NVIDIA and Radeon, or NVIDIA and AMD. And then basically, this is where we are now. Intel has decided to go into the GPU market by introducing their own discrete GPUs, not your embedded GPUs on your Intel CPU, not like little graphics cards that are only there to show your 2D visuals. NVIDIA and Intel and AMD. So now we're having three choices. And if history proves right, which I hope it doesn't, I hope they're here to stay, Intel will push out the third option somewhere. Doesn't know who is going to win or nothing like that, but right now they've already announced their first discrete GPUs, and their code name Alchemist, Battle Mage, Celestial, and Druid. So
very D&D.
Very gamer centric to some RPG like old style elements and whatnot. Fine. Whatever they're gonna call them, it is what it is. Now what they're stating is that these GPUs will be competitive to NVIDIA's 30 series and AMD's current series, which, if you know, the 30 series is no slouch. Nobody can buy them. It's a great mining card. It has everything people want, regardless of what they're trying to do with it. Like gaming or mining, it doesn't matter. Like even workstation, like video editing and 3D art, right? I don't know if they're gonna be this great. I don't know if at launch it's gonna be great, because every single time we've seen this, it's always like, yeah, I could do ray tracing, which by the way, they did say that it'll compete with NVIDIA's ray tracing on hardware. But your first launch, Intel, you weren't doing very good when all of a sudden there were security flaws in your Intel chipsets, but now you're gonna come out swinging with these GPUs that you're gonna compete with. I think the only thing that's going to set these guys apart, if there are going to be discrete GPUs out there, is that one, can it mine? Because if it can mine and it does that efficiently, all of a sudden they're nowhere to be found on launch day. Number two, can it compete? Can it compete within 5% margin of the 3080 or anything? Because that's the only thing that's going to make it worthwhile to pay top dollar. And three, if it can't compete within 5% of margin, is it cheap enough for people to game on at like 1440p or 4K at a pretty decent price? I think that's going to be the swinging that they need to make to be able to stay in the game and possibly push somebody else out in the next second or third generation. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I just don't remember a time where there was three choices for one single like section of the PC gaming market. I don't recall a time. But what do you think? Is this something that you're gonna buy outright because you're just tired of AMD and NVIDIA? Or is it something that you're just gonna do the Magneto thing and be like, let the pawns go first and we'll see what happens?
Well, so we got a comment here from Matas Lasinskas. Again, butchering your name. You need to give us like a phonetical type out there.
Yeah, Lilu Dallas Multipass.
Yeah, that's great. They have a lot of great ideas and brings new air and ideas to the market. And also, they were bringing a new cool shader instructions for game devs and so on. What say you, Joe?
New shader instructions and everything is going to be something that it's going to be per developer. Like they're going to either decide to use it. It's kind of like back in the day where people were like, Does it support 3D Glide? Does it support DirectX or OpenGL? Does it support this? Like, those were actual questions that people that were buying GPUs were deciding whether or not they were going to buy the graphics card. Nowadays, it's all included, right? Like, if you do ray tracing, it has the ability to do all that. With shaders, it's like you're really going to have to sell them on either a level of performance or a level of quality or both for them to say it's a no-brainer. We have to implement this stuff on our next game because it just makes it that much better. Now, one thing that AMD has been boosting this entire time is that their newer CPUs and their newer graphics cards have a direct communication with each other where they don't have to go through like a PCI bridge to be able to communicate like raw memory data. It just loads it onto the GPU instead of having to bridge through the CPU. This could be the introduction of that by saying, look, we have that too. We have the ability to do that too on a hardware level, which means now you're going to have to buy our new motherboards, our new CPUs, and if you're going to go with anything graphics, you're going to get a boost if you buy Intel Arc graphics cards. And that will be their advantage. But AMD already has that since 6 months ago, I think. So we'll see. I don't think it's enough. I think NVIDIA has been in the right area for a little while by saying, fine, we charge you a premium because you also get features like shadow play. You get features of streaming without having to use a third party, even though that's a piece of crap at this point. And then also that, but the shadow play application allows you to optimize for your specific PC specs instead of just being like, well, normally people run it like this, so it's going to be okay. It's specifically to your specs. Like, we know that you're going to get max frame rates from your combination of hardware, and we're going to set your games up to be this setting automatically. Not on every game, but most games. Whereas AMD doesn't have that at all. Their software driver package kind of feels a little bulky with so many features that you don't even know what to use with, and even then it's just like it feels like you're kind of installing bloatware sometimes. And then Intel, I don't know what their software piece is, but if it's anything like their integrated graphics, it's going to be another control panel that you're going to have to worry about.
My worry is if you like just wanting to get their little graphics card and stuff like that, will it work for the motherboard, or they're gonna make you go for a specific motherboard?
So I think the fact that I don't think they're gonna lock down the graphics cards because of PCI Express 4.0 and 5.0 now hitting new motherboards, because AMD has already shown support for that on the newly announced 600 series. But not to get too far into this whole article, I think it would be a dumb move for them to lock out performance. Instead, just lock out features that work with Intel. Don't lock out the performance, just features. Like, I don't know, you're able to record whatever at the same resolution or higher than what you're playing on, or something like that. You know what I mean? Just stupid feature like screenshotting on a hotkey or something stupid.
Yeah.
But that's what I think is going to happen. It will promote Intel's products in the future because it integrates better. Sorry to use this analogy here. Whatever. It'll promote features that Intel is releasing. Yeah. But you'll still be able to use your old PCI Express 3.0 and 4.0 to be able to use this graphics card. That's my take on it. And I'll leave it at that because it's one of my subjects that I just get super excited for. Clearly, right?
Yes. Just need to have a whole segment of tech talk with Joel.
I want to have all the power of the GPUs and play Fortnite.
I concur.
But yeah, let's move on. I mean, if you're excited for this, great. If you're not excited for it, tell us why. I think it's a good move for Intel, but I also think like if they can't supply the graphics cards, they're dead in the water. But